Hey y'all, it's Kim. So this is part 12 or page 12 of the JFK documents. I had to split this up into a couple of videos. I may have to do a third because one of the documents has like 40 something pages. I'm probably not going to read every single thing. I'll read maybe just like kind of the introduction, maybe a couple of pages worth, and then just add those in the description so you can go back and read the entire thing yourself because that's a lot of reading. And I was already coughing during the first one. And I'm sorry, but sometimes I get choked up. I've been dealing with some kind of allergy. And this one also has 18 pages, so it'll probably be the same thing. But I mean, you'll see as much as I can. When it's 2 or 3 pages, that's not bad. But when it's 18, no, I don't want to read all of that. But anyway, this is just a document. It's JFK Assassination System Identification Form, agency information. The agency is the CIA. Record number 104 10071 10021. Record series JFK agent file number 802 or 80T 01357A. Document information, agency originator, CIA, from CIOBER to FBI. Title, subject, activities of Dale Smith. 9/20 of 1968. There's 2 pages. Subjects, activity, Black Power, Denmark, and then Dale Smith. Document type is paper. Classification secret. Restrictions 1A, 1B. Released in part public, released with deletions. And date of last review, 7/29/93. In the comments, JFK 15, and then F3 1993, over like 1993, 7th of July. Or I'm assuming this is July and then 29th, but I don't know that for sure. But whatever this code is, who knows without being internal. But anyway, this is September 20th, 1968. And then from CI/OBER. As only it originated. This is Maria Walsh, August 6th of 1968, based on ODCA 150552, July 26th of 68, and then disseminated to FBI, excuse me, 20th of September 1968. Action, and then B700, I guess, and then October 17th of 69. Records copy. Let's see what he did. Okay, so this says secret, no foreign dissemination, no dissemination abroad. This is September 20th, 1968. Activities of Dale Smith. Attached is a newspaper interview with American Black Power advocate Dale Smith, which was published in Sondag's Act 12, something like that, 7th of July 1968, and which gives a fair description of Smith's views as they have been expressed on other occasions. Smith mentions a television program which has been filmed but not shown by Danish TV. The program was, in fact, shown on the week the interview appeared. The title was The Negro in Denmark. I mean, that's what it says. I mean, right there. And a group of 5 American Negroes had a fine time sitting around a table in a dark, smoke-filled set meant to appear as around a table. Hold on. Meant to appear as a cafe, damning white America, capitalism, Russian communism, and most emphatically Denmark, all with a fine disdain for logic or sequence of thoughts. Please transmit reply via something, Mr. S.J. Papich. And then attachment is a newspaper article. Unfortunately, we don't have all the newspaper articles that go with this stuff. I'm sure if you looked, you could find it somewhere on the internet, but if those documents even still exist. Um, this is to the Director of Federal Bureau of Investigation, Mr. Fred J. Cassidy, and this is April, is it 10th of 1970? Director, Central Intelligence Agency, Cactus, and the subject is Australian Vietnam Moratorium Campaign. We have been advised by the Australian Service that William Richard Leslie, Australian delegate to the Fifth Stockholm Conference on Vietnam, has announced that the following foreigners have been invited to participate in the Australian Vietnam Moratorium Campaign and have either accepted or are considering acceptance. Pastor Martin Niemöller, Comment West German Vice President of War Resisters International, Mrs. Nancy Rubin, wife of Jerry Rubin, Mrs. Coretta King, Martin Luther King's widow or wife, I don't know, at this point it would have been his widow, Mr. Dick Gregory. Incidental to this, Leslie noted that the strong theme of American delegates to the Fifth Stockholm Conference was the idea of corporate complicity and days of action planned in the United States between 21st and 30th of April against companies with military contracts. Leslie urged similar action against Australian subsidiary companies such as Honeywell Computers and Qantas. The Australian service has asked for verification concerning the intention of these Americans or others to visit Australia for the moratorium. Please provide any pertinent information concerning the above for passage to the Australian service. In the message, coordinating officers, Mr. Richard Ober, and then this is a secret. Not so secret. Now, let's see. This is a 44-page one. This is 6 pages. I'll come back and do these other ones because they're pretty long. Let me do this one first. This one only has 6 or 2 pages. The other one had 6, and then these other 2 have long, like a lot more. So this is March 9th, 1968. TCOS, Mexico City, Douglas J. Freepane. It says subject status report, project Lie Ogle and Lie Mix, covering period 1st of February through 29th of February 1968. Actions taken. Li Mix 1 prepared and published 5,000 copies of the monthly Li Mix or Li Mix political newspaper for distribution in offices of the PRI in Mexico City and selected officials in the provinces. Copies are included as attachment A to this report. This issue contains good photographic coverage of the National Convention of the PRI, an article on page 3, which is based on previous speeches by the new president of the PRI, Alfonso Martinez Dominguez, a series of interviews with political and intellectual figures regarding Martinez Gomez on page 4, an article boosting the future leader of the Federal Workers Union, Professor Edgar Robledo Santiago on page 13, and a plug for the Olympics on the back page, in addition to other serious and light features of general interest. To Li Mix 1 also prepared the monthly ideological magazine supplement, see attachment B, which contains the inaugural speech of the new president of the PRI and the new PRI official mayor, Fluvio Vista Altamirano, and which is included as an insert with the attachment A newspaper. 3. Li Mix 1 provided the station with information from very reliable sources on the reasons for the dismissal of LIC Francisco Galindo Ochoa from his post in the presidency and on what the government expects of Martinez Gomez in the PRI. Identity A and LI Mix 1 continued a close relationship with ex-deputy Salvador Padilla Flores, who is supposed to be a good friend of the new president of the PRI, the representative of the municipal government of Mexico City in Azcapotzalco. I'm probably saying that so wrong, like every other name. And then ING Raul Garza Montemayor provided the Identity A group with the second office, also located in a building owned by the municipality. The Identity A group continued now with official support to organize athletic events, show motion pictures provided by QK Flow Age and the West German Embassy, and activities related to the organization of PRI youth activities in this zone of Mexico City. At Capazalco. 7, the LI Mix Ateneo, headed by Identity B, suffered a temporary loss of its TV programs, and Identity B was busy trying to find governmental contacts with sufficient power to force Channel 11 to return to TV time to the Ateneo. Believes the loss was caused by the dismissal of Galindo Ochoa from the presidency. Galindo had given Identity B unofficial support in his relationship with the TV station management. It is believed that Ateneo time can be recovered. However, Identity B is also investigating the possibility of obtaining time on a commercial TV channel and a radio station. 8, Identity B and LI Mix 1 continue cultivation of, I guess this is probably like Licencio Esteban Ruiz Ponce, who is employed as a Secretaria Adjunto to Joaquin Cisneros, the private secretary of the president of Mexico. LI Mix 1 also had several meetings with the private security of Cisneros, Rafael Minor. LI Mix 1 prepared, published, and distributed 3,000 copies of the Attachment C monthly IPN student publication, which included an interview with the new president of the Federación Nacional de Estudiantes Técnicos, the FNET, Jose Sobreros, on page 6. Several articles provided by QK Flow Age and the West German Embassy, as well as other material of interest to IPN students. The Sobreros interview was an exclusive. LI Mix 1 was able to obtain one of the 2,000 tickets available for the national convention of the PRI and attended both days' meetings. LI Mix 1 provided the station with the report on the FNET Congress and his participation therein. As a result, a close friend of LI Mix 1, Romero Aguirre Garin, was named private secretary of the president of the FNET, and LI Mix 1 was named one of the advisors of the FNET president. 12, LI Mix 1, continued contact with a variety of political personalities with this with the objective of being able to penetrate the new PRI headquarters, and then actions pending. The major pending action is the establishment of a penetration and or friendships with PRI once the situation in PRI headquarters has solidified to some degree. For example, Juan Maldonado sits in a sort of limbo at this state, neither one of his job nor confirmed in a job, neither out of his job nor confirmed in a job, excuse me. However, it would appear that the LI mix mechanism has at least 5 channels into the new PRI national executive staff, which are being developed for appropriate utilization. A separate report will be prepared on these channels into the PRI national. Um, Other channels exist to provide contacts within the PRI regional headquarters for Mexico City, but nothing can be done until current officers are retired and the new men appointed. Indications of effectiveness are reported in paragraph 1, 3, 5, 10, and 11. Administrative note. Nothing new to report. Security situation. No security problems were encountered. Agent meetings. Meetings between FREA Payne and LI Mix 1 were held on a weekly basis in a restaurant. Remarks, while student operations are no longer the priority, operations of this project, FREA Payne, continues to encourage LI Mix 1 contact with the IPN student politicians because of the continuing and even increasing political problems caused by far left student agitation, thus providing WO firm with a continuing possibility for intelligence gathering and political action in this field. And then prepared on 9th of March 1968 by Douglas J. I guess it's Free Pain. I wasn't saying his name right. I didn't realize that's what his name was. Sorry. Okay, let's look at this one. This is August 6th of 1961, report number 61053. This is Israeli liaison. This is subject. It's International Institute for Peace. Don't we have, isn't that something here in the States too? In a circular letter dated Vienna, 15th of February 1961, addressed to Maki leaders in Israel, the following Latin American public figures were listed as signatories of the appeal to convene the Latin American Conference for National Sovereignty, Economic Emancipation, and Peace in Mexico in March of 1961. Argentina was Professor Alfredo L. Palacios, MP, former federal senator, former rector. Oh no. I'm just going to read their names and we'll put the links in there. Dr. Alejandro Gomez, Dr. Santiago H. del Castillo, Professor Carlos Sanchez Viamonte, Dr. Julio E. Acosta, Miss Nelda Bayagoria, Dr. Carlos Alberto Becerra, Dr. Juan Carlos Espina, Dr. Horacio Luelmo, Mr. Attilio Marchini, Dr. Augustine Rodriguez Araya, Dr. Eduardo Rosenkrantz, Dr. Ramon A. Muniz, Mr. Rodolfo Gioldi, something like that. Professor Bernardo Canal Viejo, something like that. Mr. Ezekiel Martinez Estrada, Dr. Moises Pollock. Some of these you can see they have some kind of ties like communists, and then this is socialist. Anyway, Mr. Guillermo Esteves Boero, something like that. Mr. Augustine Cuevas, Mr. C. D. Simone, Mr. Miguel Angel Asturias, Dr. Eduardo Aleman, and Mr. Bernardo Kleiner. And then Brazil, MPs, Sergio Magalhães, Josue de Castro. Oh, these are all the names. Okay. Barbosa, Lima, Sabrino, Gabriel Pasos, Josue de Castro, Salvador Saco. Anyway, these names are like really hard to pronounce. So I'm just gonna add this into the description. Like I said, there's too many names. I'm not gonna keep reading those. I keep messing them up, and that's a long list of names in the different countries. Whew, that's too many. That's a lot of names. Anyway, this seems like kind of radical people. Um, so this is January 18th of 1952, Washington, and then New York, R.S. Travis 2268, sensitive secret security information. Like I said, this is 44 pages. I'll probably just read the first maybe one or two and then add it in the description. It says to LEA from Ashcroft. Let me open this up a little more. Excuse me. Special Services, Travis. And then this is sensitive. This is new case 9145. Reference made to, I don't know what this, I think it's something blocked out, but LEA's conversation yesterday with Travis and Rose regarding the OPC request for contact with the Research Institute of America. As Rose indicated, he will be in New York on Wednesday, 23rd of January, and would like to have you make arrangements to meet with the appropriate person or persons in RIA to discuss a cover case. Rose has advised that both Leo Chern and Carl Howard have been given covert operational clearances. Following is the background of this case. There is a man by the name of William J. Aiken, presently working for ECA in Washington, who is going to resign from ECA and come with CIA and will go overseas for OPC. He's going to leave ECA sometime around the end of this month and must have some explanation as to the reason for his resignation. Therefore, OPC wishes to locate some firm which will be willing to backstop Aiken's resignation in the form of a supposedly hiring Aiken. Aiken has been a research analyst on economic and financial problems in Italy, and it is felt that perhaps employment with RIA would be a logical reason to give for resigning from ECA. The RIA cover will not be utilized for Aiken's cover overseas. About all that would be required of RIA would be to acknowledge acknowledge to Ashcroft for Travis from LEA's. Okay. We have set up an appointment for next Wednesday at 3:30. It cut off something. Okay, yeah, it cut something off here. It cut off at the end of this to acknowledge uh, Leo Chern reports his demand. We have set up an appointment for next Wednesday at 3:30. Rose better be here in this office by 2:30 p.m. Please confirm. Rose advised he will be there at 2:30 on 23rd of January. Okay. Secret security information sensitive. Rose advises that he will be in your office by 2:30 p.m. Thanks very much. Okay, this is hard to read here. Oh, it's just giving like his background information. Somebody's handprint or something right there. Um, I'll probably just do this one and then cut this one off because that other page wasn't completed. Okay, the meeting today with Chern was completely successful. When he gets back to Washington, Rose is going to submit to us through you additional background information on Aiken, which we will turn over to Chern. We would suggest that when Aiken makes his pitch at ECA and tells them that he is being offered a job with the Research Institute of America, that he stressed the name of Leo Chern, who actually will be the only person who will be able to back up his story. And then discussed with Rose, he will furnish data and something copy was sent to Rose, maybe. Oh, data to us, copy sent to Rose. Okay. Anyway, that page, that one's like really long too. This one's also long. Um, this is 18 pages. Chief of Station J.M. Wave, operational G.Y. Rose, review and analysis of AMEAUNA operation. It's action required traces of AF, excuse me, AMFAUNA 2 through 23 identified in attendance POA on the A 2, 3, 4, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 17, 18, and 19. Ascertain where the group 3 is of operational interest to ODIBEX. And then see paragraph 15B, forward evaluation of documentary intelligence provided by the A4 group, whatever. AM AMFAUNA 1 is a Cuban national who was recruited and trained in the United States and returned legally to Cuba in March 1961 to serve as resident agent in Havana. Since then, he has built a net of over 20 sub-agents and has sent back 140 SW messages, from which upwards of 50 intelligence disseminations have been made. He's highly motivated for his work and under effective control by J.M. Wave. The quality of his production is, for the most part, very good and improving, although he is at times distracted by an understandable interest in paramilitary operations. Operationally, he's very skillful. However, he has been known to take unnecessary risks. There's no reason to think that he is under hostile control, nor that the operation is likely in the future to be turned against us. There is, however, the real risk that he may one day fall into a G2 trap baited with the Escambray guerrillas. If so, this will be due to the fact that contact with the guerrillas was his first assignment, and although he's been redirected to intelligence collection, He sometimes seems to feel that he has failed in his primary mission. This, plus the fact that he evidently believes that the end is now very close, is apt to make him vulnerable to an appeal from the heroes of the Escambre. Present status of the operation, the modus operandi. There's considerable evidence that AMF AUNA1 is extraordinarily, let's see, skillful in the practice of security. He's built a false identity, which he uses whenever possible in his operational contacts. He's usually selective and cautious in his choice of collaborators. He takes pains to check on the security of his subagents, and he uses a system of cutouts for much of his work. Some of AMFAUNA's older collaborators know him by true name, but wherever possible, he introduces himself to contacts by the name of Julio Rojo. Evidently, he is now living the part of Julio Rojo to such an extent that he has, in fact, a double identity. In one of his SW messages, he asked that the widow of AMCUSP1 be warned not to reveal that Julio is in Cuba, since AM Fauna 1 is in Cuba legally and all his family and friends know it. This can only mean that she could not reveal that AM Fauna 1 and Julio Rojo are identical. Pseudonym used by subject of 201. Okay. In recruiting subagents, AM Fauna 1 relies primarily on his own judgment and intuition. If he approves of a person, he will recruit him. However, he's shown himself to be very cautious in granting his approval. He's reported 2 persons whom he does not completely trust because while otherwise well qualified, they drink too much and are indiscreet. For 2 other examples, AM Boa 1 and LITAU 5 approached him separately and revealed their relationship with Cubar. Hoping to collaborate with him, AM Fauna treated them both with reserve while he checked them out with JM Wave. He submitted the names of other contacts for checking. In the case of AM Fauna 4, whom he recruited without prior checking because time did not permit it, he put his misgivings in writing. Right away, AM Fauna 1 arranged for a personal interview, taking utmost precautions since we had sad previous experiences with members of Castro's armed forces. Once he's recruited a subagent, AM Fauna 1 manages to keep an independent eye on the former's security. On more than one occasion, he's reported that one of his subagents is under G2 surveillance, and that for the time being, he's staying away from him. Anyway, it seems like they're just watching somebody in Cuba, but I'm going to stop for now. I want to look at a different document because I saw an interview with Taylor Lorenz, and I have to just put her little video up there, and then we'll go through the Luigi and Mangione document or like the indictment, and then just see if what she's saying is legit. I'm just saying, like how can you approve of something like that? But anyway, let me stop this. I'll try to get that recorded pretty quick, and then I'll be done for the day. And you won't hear from me until maybe tomorrow. Anyway, talk to y'all later. Like, share, and subscribe. See y'all. Bye.